Blessings and abundance to you, my friend. Good morning. Hope you're feeling great. I'm your host, as always, Mitchell Brooks. What I want to talk about today, something very interesting, something that I've learned a lot about throughout my process, and I probably have a lot more to learn about it throughout the rest of my life, right? But that's the beauty in it, right? There's always more to learn. What I'm talking about is financial freedom and what it looks like in all levels, right? So on surface level, we all know financial freedom nowadays. We all strive to have it maybe, or at least would love to have it, the idea of it, right? We like it. I started my journey 4 or 5 years ago with this being the entire goal, right? I just wanted to be able to stay in bed and sleep in with my girl and, not have to work for somebody else, right? But in this process of realizing that and getting to a point where that was my reality, I've learned so much more, and financial freedom as a whole has become so much more deep than just having enough money to stay in bed and sleep at home, right? All right, so it's on surface level, financial freedom is just having more. If you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I did, which changed everything for me, it was an amazing book. You should let this change everything for you. If you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it tells you liabilities versus assets. Liabilities versus assets. If something is a liability, it is taking away from you more than it is bringing you. If something is an asset, it is bringing you more than something is bringing to you more than it is taking from you, right? So let's say like your mortgage, your house, right? By Kiyosaki's definition, your mortgage wouldn't be an asset. It would be more of a liability until you make it some sort of like rental property, that kind of thing. So for most people, he would look at their mortgage, their house, as liability because it is bringing them more of a, it's taking away from them monetarily wise more than it is bringing them, right? Now, everybody's definition is different. But it's up to you to decide your own definition, right? But the basic point of it is if something's taken from you and it's not giving more than it's taking, it's a liability. It's taking away too much and it could cause more damage in the future than you might expect right now. An asset is the opposite of that. It's bringing more to you. Okay. Now, again, this is like basic financial kind of stuff there. Now, Kiyosaki, I love him. I love his work. Don't get me wrong. But learning this early on, one, reshaped my entire opinion or entire understanding of financials, right? I didn't grow up in a entrepreneurial household of any kind. I grew up in more of an employee kind of household. And don't get me wrong, I'm thankful for everything, right? But I'm just saying I didn't grow up with that sense of, you need to work to create more opportunity for yourself. It was more just like work so you make money, provide for your family, whatever. So I started out with this understanding, right? I read this book and it shifted my entire perception. And it also brought into my conscious awareness all these different financial ideas, right? Like I really wasn't focused on money at all before this. I mean, I worked my jobs. I started working at 15, but I didn't have a higher sense of what I could do, right? I worked my jobs. I did my other little side hustles, and I learned a lot about business with those side hustles, but it wasn't, it didn't take it very far, obviously, right? But getting into this understanding helped me really see more of the long-term vision. It helped me put my mind on, wow, here I am, I think I'm doing some cool stuff sometimes. I'm working my job, whatever. No, dude, I need to have 16 commercial rental properties and, on the other side of the country or the same, whatever. Like I just need to have more money coming in from my assets, providing me with the cash flow to do whatever else I want, providing me with the cash flow to be able to live the life of my choosing. It opened my mind up. It opened my mind up to all these different ideas. It opened my mind up to the fact that I'm glad I read this early on because I began to understand really early on that cars and the nice house for the sake of having a nice house, it's all, it only goes so far. Now, again, have everything you can have because you can, right? But don't base your entire sense of self around having the nice car. Whatever. Back to my point. It started with this. I read this book. I was laying in bed at home. I wanted to be able to stay at home. I didn't want to have to go to a job I hated. I didn't want to have to work with people that I didn't like. So I got this understanding. I started working on it. I started doing different things. I started following different pursuits, right? I got into trading. Like stocks is where I first started. Got into that, of course, lost some money, like basically gambled in some ways. I bought into some groups, got around some other people who were doing it. Learned a lot from them, right? That was stocks. Then I did crypto. Then I did Forex. And crypto and Forex is really where I learned the most. And I actually had the real network opportunity, I guess you could say. I met one of my mentors, Ray Bans. I might have seen him before. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. But he's a Forex trader, crypto trader, all that kind of stuff. Learned a lot from him in the areas of personal development altogether. He was like a true mentor for me. I found him in a network marketing opportunity where everybody else was, network marketers, so to say the least, not really traders. He was a real trader, and he was really good at networking, right? Because that's just a great skill to have, right? So I started learning a lot from him, and in that process, I was learning from him. I was learning from all this different information I was ingesting on YouTube, and I began to develop this deeper awareness even then of financial freedom, of what I wanted for my life, rather than just, I want to be able to stay at home, right? I began to develop this sense of self, this deeper sense of self that was like, because I was going through failure. I was falling on my fucking face. Like I was losing money. I was working, and putting my money into trading and learning, putting a lot of time into learning. But I still didn't have the discipline, the psychology, right? So I would just throw money at different trades and be so ready, willing, and expecting to make a ton of money from trading when I didn't have much money to do it with. Like it's like supposed to be an escape for me. Like I can leave my job with this, right? Well, that didn't work out, right? Like I used more and more money, but throughout that process, I developed in more ways than I expected to do so. To this day, I would not change a damn thing about it. I'd spend the money again. Maybe I'd spend more and stay in it longer at this point, right? But I went through that. I kept going. I did that for 2 years. 2 years of that time, I spent going around the different trading blocks, learning from this guy, learning from Ray a lot, being in different communities, practicing it. And while you're in that practicing time, it takes motivation. It takes inspiration, right? So I was constantly filling my brain with good information. Constantly. I slowly but surely, well, it wasn't even slowly. I cut off video games. Like anytime I try to play the game, my mind's running. Like, what are you doing? You got so much to learn, right? So here I am, this kid. I wanted to be able to sleep in with my girl and stay in bed with her all day and not have to go to school. To this point, 1-2 years later, I'm in an endeavor. I got my normal job, working 40 hours a week, 40, 50 hours a week, hard labor. And I'm coming home, I'm getting on the computer, and I'm learning. And I'm loving this. I'm starting to fall in love with this process of development. And like nothing else feels as good. Nothing else feels better than this, right? Now, again, I did have one thing in place already that helped me stay focused, and that was my girl. I wasn't out there searching for pointless ass like many guys are, right? I had found my woman. God, universe sent her into my life when I needed her more than ever. So I had her, and we were, comfortable with one another. Like we did our thing, right? We had our own issues going on. Don't get me wrong. Not all perfect dandies and dandelions and everything else, but my point is there wasn't a huge hole in my bucket of energy. I was focused in that endeavor, right? Or at least to the degree that I wasn't constantly putting energy into pointlessness, right? So I keep moving forward, keep going, keep doing my thing. And in this whole time, I'm developing this awareness around personal development, around leadership, around understanding myself in different ways. Like I'm starting to see more and more of the things and experiencing more and more things that scared me, that really terrified me. That in a way, when I started this journey, I was kind of like trying to avoid. I wanted to stay at home so I didn't have to feel uncomfortable in one way. But here I am, I'm getting into this journey, I'm loving it more and more, and here comes some uncomfortability, some discomfort, right? As far as like social interactions, things that really scare me. Of course, the financial investing, that was always kind of scary as well too, right? But when you see a vision, when you know your outcome, you just kind of go for it, right? But the way you go for it matters too, because again, lost a lot of money. So here's what it is. Kept going on that path, kept learning. Then I got into life insurance, and in that trading is what built my ability to move forward without seeing much progress. It built my determination, right? And so I kept on, and throughout that process, to not even get into that process, like I just kept on developing, man. I just kept on growing in all these different ways. And my discipline got stronger and stronger and stronger, right? Because I was going through so much failure at times, it was like I had two decisions. I had a decision to make. It was either give up and blame it on everybody else and say, wow, this is just as hard as everybody said it would be, and everybody else was right. Or I could accept ownership. I could take pride in my path and say, you know what? This shit sucks, but it's also beautiful. And it sucks because of me, like because of my skills, my lack of skills, because my lack of understanding of this or that, my lack of experience. And this is how I get the experience. So why not keep on? What am I going to do otherwise? What am I going to do if I quit? Go back to my old job that I hate? Have everybody else give me shit for the rest of my life because I, left at one point? You know what I mean? Fuck that. That left my mind very early on, I'll be honest with you. But because I burnt those fucking boats. And it was like the island was so much more beautiful, grassy, and green, even though I was starving at times, for the sake of that analogy. So, my point in telling you all about this is that you may start your journey for one reason or another. For example, for financial freedom. And as you progress and grow through what you go through, you will unlock new sides of your higher self. And you will bring awareness to what you maybe haven't brought awareness to ever before in your life. And in that process, you will become closer and closer to your highest self, to the divinity that is inside of you, that is seeking expression through you. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. When you do that, everything else works out. When you get on that path, when you work down that path and you appreciate it and you're grateful and you just stay on it, everything in your life works out, man. Everything. But it takes that consistent, determined action to be able to see it and then be able to see it through. To be able to be focused and appreciative and grateful and stay on it no matter what. Don't let society, don't let your friends, don't let your family stop you from doing whatever it is you need to do for yourself. Whatever it is you need to do to unlock this greater side of you. We all got the same 24 hours, and it's up to you to take time and energy to put it into something for you. You don't have to be completely right whatsoever. You just need directional correctness. I started in trading. I plan to get back into that, but even if I never do, what it taught me is beautiful. What it taught me, I'll never be able, nobody can ever take away from me. Same thing with life insurance. Same thing with everything else I did. So get started, dude. It doesn't fucking matter if you don't know exactly what it is you want to do. It just matters if you get started. And you stay on the fucking path. You get out of your own way and you get after it in the way you need to, man. It is absolutely wondrous what you can do with the right amount of energy, the right amount of gratitude, and the right amount of time. You got this, guys. You're going to keep on moving towards those goals. You're going to do what you got to do. I know you can do it. I'm ready to see it happen. I want you to let me know Let me know what you got from this. Let me know what's going on. And guys, just be appreciative of that journey and seek that higher self, seek that higher calling, go after it and just be it. You got this, guys. I love you. Let's go.